Hi, good evening. My name is Gabriela Sanchez. Today is Saturday, December 12th, 2020. Today I'm going to be doing exercise 2, the pH testing. I have gathered my materials. I have 6 nutrient broths. Three are labeled as Cerevisiae, pH 5, pH 7, and pH 9. And 3 are labeled as Epidermidis, pH 5, pH 7, and pH 9. I have 2 pipettes. I have my candle that is lit, and I have my acids here that we'll be using today. I also have my active cultures, S. cerevisiae and S. epidermidis. And what I'm going to be doing is, first I'm going to get my broths a little bit closer. I'm going to remove the lid from S. epidermidis, 5%, or pH 5 rather. My S. epidermidis, pH 5 test tube. I'm gonna open the test tube and pass the lid on the flame to sterilize it. Once I've done this, I'm going to get my HCl, hydrochloric acid. With my scissors, I'm going to cut it at an angle. And I'm gonna put exactly 1 drop of the hydrochloric acid into the S. epidermidis pH 5 nutrient broth. I've already passed this through the flame, and I'm going to pipette just 1 drop of hydrochloric acid. Before I recap this, I'm going to pass it through the flame once more to sterilize it before I recap it. So I've done that, and I am going to reaffix the lid. I'm going to do the same for the S. cerevisiae pH 5 nutrient broth. I'm going to uncap it, pass it through the flame to sterilize it, and I'm going to put exactly 1 drop of the hydrochloric acid. And before I recap this, I'm going to pass it through the flame and reaffix the lid. Now, I've done that for S. cerevisiae and S. epidermidis. Now I'm going to grab my S. epidermidis broth, pH 9, pass it through the flame to sterilize this. I've done that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my sodium hydroxide. I'm going to cut the tip of the pipette thing, and I'm going to put exactly 1 drop of the sodium hydroxide into my S. epidermidis pH 9 nutrient broth. I've done that. Before I recap this, I'm going to pass it through the flame once more and recap this. I'm going to do the same for the S. cerevisiae pH 9, uncap it, pass it through the flame, and add 1 drop of sodium hydroxide. I've done that. And before I recap it, pass it through the flame once more. I don't have to do the pH 7 broth because it's already been adjusted at pH 7. What we're going to do now, I am going to discard the acids. I'm going to wrap those in a paper towel before I discard them into the trash. Like I mentioned, I do have pipettes in a cup sitting of alcohol. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pipette 2 drops of my active nutrient. We'll start with the Cerevisiae active culture. I'm going to put 2 drops of the active Cerevisiae culture broth into each of the Cerevisiae nutrient broths that I have here. So it's going to be 2 drops in the pH 5, 7, and 9. And that's going to be done with the same pipette. So again, before we recap and inserting a new pipette, we have to sterilize it. Let's start with Cerevisiae pH 5. Pass it through the flame to sterilize it. I'm going to shake the excess liquid from here. And it's going to be 2 drops. So 1, 2. I set that aside. Before I recap this, pass it through the flame. That was for the pH 5. Pass my active culture through the flame. Same thing for pH 7. One, 2. And before I recap it, pass it through the flame. Sterilize this once again, the active broth. pH 9. Pass this through the flame. One, 2. And I'm going to put my pipette in bleach to sit there. I've passed it through the flame before I recap. Same thing with the active culture. All right, so I've done that with the Cerevisiae culture broths. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take pictures of the inoculated pH broths and upload a picture to the HOL lab. I'm going to do the same with the S. epidermidis. And once I have done that, I'm going to upload pictures of that one as well. And let's do the S. epidermidis. And let me grab my active culture. Pass it through the flame. pH 5 S. epidermidis. And with my other pipette, I'm going to inoculate the remainder of the broths. And pass it through the flame. Now my S. epidermidis pH 7. And And again, it's 2 drops per nutrient broth. Pass it through the flame before I recap it. Sterilize my active culture. Grab the nutrient broth for S. epidermidis pH 9. Pass it through the flame. And 2 drops, 1, 2. And this will be soaking in bleach. Pass both through the flame to recap. My active culture, setting aside, and I will be refrigerating those again. I've inoculated the 6 broths. I'm gonna incubate them for 24 hours as well. I'm gonna dispose of everything, wipe everything with 10% bleach solution, and return whatever I will be needing to my kit once again. We'll see what the 24 hours incubation period shows us. Thanks. That concludes exercise 2 of pH testing. Thanks.